Okay, I'm going to go back over what we did in class today, and we're writing about the most dangerous game. You guys are writing an 11-sentence paragraph essay. The prompt is, how does Richard Connell use figurative language to establish the mood in the most dangerous game? Your thesis statement must have the author's name, a title, a strong verb, and your central claim about the mood of the story. We went over the thesis statement that I created, and I wrote, Richard Connell, author of The Most Dangerous Game, creates a foreboding, which is one of our mood words, foreboding atmosphere, and a sense of danger, and some of you use danger as a mood word, by personifying and turning inanimate objects into monstrous, another one of your mood words, creations which threaten the main character. Notice I have the author's name, I have the title of the story, and I have my strong verb, creates. Then my central claim is that the mood is going to be foreboding, dangerous, because of monstrous creations. So I'm mainly going to talk about personification in my paper. Some of you had trouble with sentence 2, in which you introduce your first example that supports the claim you made about the mood. And then you went on to have trouble with the embedded quote. So we went over how you do this over here on the board. So let's look. First, we made a list of all of the mood words that you guys came up with the day before when you did your presentation. Here they are: fearful, merciless, terrifying, evil, suspenseful, tense, monstrous, nightmarish, hostile, predatory, threatening, foreboding, haunting, eerie, and sinister. So this is the feeling that you got when you read this book. Next, this is the first piece of evidence that you guys started talking about when the Rainsford and Whitney were discussing the island. And here's the quote directly from the book. As if the air about us was actually poisonous. So that is a simile because it's using like or as, and it is talking about the air around the island. Even though they're not on the island, they're just passing the island. Nothing's happening yet, but we know that this island is surrounded by air that is like it is poisonous. So you've picked your evidence. That's the first thing you do, is pick the evidence. Now you can introduce it. If you have not picked the evidence, it's impossible to write the second sentence. Let's look at the second sentence. Connell uses, and I said see yellow sheet because you guys referred to this quote as many different things. You could have called it foreshadowing, figurative language, imagery, descriptive language words, personification, detail specific words, hyperbole. Okay, it's not irony yet, or onomatopoeia or metaphor, but it is a simile. So you could have called it any of those things, and some of you have different quotes or different evidence that you picked from the book. You may insert one of these words off the yellow sheet into this spot in the sentence. Connell uses figurative language, foreshadowing, specific word choice to provide a hint of the island's dangers. That's how you would introduce the quote. Now you have to embed the quote. Whitney tells Rainsford that the ship's captain feels as if the air about them, and we changed us to them, so we had to put it in brackets, is actually poisonous. That is an embedded quote because the quote itself actually goes into a sentence that you created. It flows together and makes sense. Nowhere in there do I announce the quote that means a hint of danger is this. Don't announce what you're going to say. Create a sentence that seamlessly flows with the rest of your paper. Then number 4 is the sentence in which you explain it. Connell's simile adds to the fearful mood of the story. So now we know why you picked this piece of evidence and how it ties back into the fact that you think this island is dangerous. Your fifth sentence must transition, and I told you and suggested that it would be best if you did in chronological order. We're starting with the beginning of the story. The mood is fearful. Now you can just say, Connell continues to establish the mood of the story when, and you have several choices. You can say, when Rainsford swims to the island, or when Rainford reaches the island, when Rainford meets the island host, General Zaroff, when Rainsford becomes a pawn in General Zaroff's game. Now, of course, these are things that you came up with in class, and some of them I kind of came up with you to word them a little better. I don't want you to use exactly this, but put it in your own words and do it in chronological order, because that'll help you work through the story to show us how the mood is established and continued through the entire story.